Hi, I'm Lee and this is my knitting podcast. You can find me, I've got a blog at louleigh.co.uk. I'm on Instagram as Instamatic Louleigh. My Ravelry is louleigh, and I've got a bag shop and that's on Etsy at Shop Louleigh. And there's one more thing. There's a group. And it would be great if you came and joined the group, and it would be really interesting actually to know what you're knitting right now. I'm guessing you're sat somewhere comfortable with a nice drink and having a wee knit while you watch this, so I would love it if you went over to the Ravelry group and linked to your current project. That would be really interesting. If you hadn't worked it out, this is a knitting podcast. If you're not into knitting, then stick around, you might be converted. Or you might just run away screaming. Anyway, so what happens now is I just waffle on about the stuff that I've been doing, and I'd love to know what you think over on the Ravelry group or in the comments below and all that sort of stuff. I'd love to see, anyway, as I said, love to see what you're doing as well. Did I say that the group was Louleigh? Did I remember that bit? Anyway, there you go. So you would have seen from the finishing glory at the beginning that I have finished my Cushman cardigan. Hopefully you got a much better shot of it there, because I'm just going to hold it up as a big lump. It's not even neatly folded or anything. I finished this just before I went on holiday, and I had blocked all the pieces. Let me start from the beginning. This is Cushman. It's a design by Amy Herzog, and I used her custom fit utility to make it fit me like a glove. And I knitted it in blacker Falkland wool. So I had blocked out all the pieces and stitched it all together, and then I did the button band, and I haven't blocked it or steamed it since, and so this is rolling under. I'm sure it won't do that once I get it wet again and flatten it out properly, so that's no problem. But I haven't got around to that because I've actually been wearing this quite a lot. It's been cold here. It's been miserable. It rained all, was it yesterday that it rained all day? And Bobby and I just looked out the window. Anyway, Bobby's the dog. So I have been wearing this a lot, and you will, if you watched the number 5, you'll know that I was starting the front and I had only just realised that they weren't designed to meet in the middle, and I had wondered if that would make this a less wearable cardigan. And I suppose the place where I really feel the cold is up around here, and so because this is a V-neck and it doesn't meet in the front, it doesn't really fulfill that requirement. However, as a summer cardigan in the midst of a miserable Yorkshire summer, it's proved quite handy, and because it fits me so well and it's got a set-in sleeve and seamed, it looks quite smart on. So I took it on holiday with me. I went to Denmark for 10 days with my mother, because our family immigrated to New Zealand from Denmark, and we actually found some of the addresses where they lived, which was really interesting. And I went to yarn shops, which was really interesting as well. Yeah, so I grabbed for this. It was a nice lightweight cardigan to take. It wasn't really bulky or anything, and I wore it most days, and I have still been wearing it most days. I like the colour, it's nice and neutral, goes with most things that I wear, and look at this. I'm really excited. This is the armpit, right? That's the armpit. Do you see any pills? Do you see any pills? No! And I haven't plucked them off especially for this. So it's not like a super soft yarn. I would call it a soft yarn though, and I really like it. I'm really happy with it. I've worn it a lot. It'll be interesting to see as the weather gets cooler if it's something that I keep taking with me just to throw over whatever it is that I'm wearing. That will be a real test. I would so knit more things and more garments in 4-ply because I think they're just really versatile. You know, you get enough warmth from the wool, but they're not heavy, they're not bulky, so that's really nice. So yeah, I think Cushman, I don't know, I'm just interested if it'll just be a summer cardigan or if it will be trans-seasonal. That's what I'm interested to find out. But other than that, I think it's a raging success. And if you want a garment that looks quite smart on, then I would highly recommend the custom fit tool because the finished object is fitted so nicely. It just looks really a little bit more dressed up. It's not quite a jacket or something, but you know, it doesn't look slouchy or anything like that. It does actually look quite smart. So yeah, that's my Cushman. Happy with that. The next thing I've been doing, this is the sock segment. There you go, it's arrived. The next thing I've been doing are these, which I've finished. And this afternoon, when I was preparing for this podcast, when I say this after, that makes it sound like it took all afternoon, when in fact it took about 10 minutes before. I decided that my cardboard box sock blockers, I guess I could just get another cardboard box and make a new pair, but they get bendier every time I use them, and I don't think they're really going to last much longer. I don't think they do much for my socks either. I mean, anyway, so this is an improvised design because a couple of years ago I did a swap with a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine who I go walking with a lot, and she's a knitter. We met at a knitting and book group. Anyway, she's a lovely friend. And she sends me a skein of yarn from her stash and I send her one from mine. And she somehow managed to get a pair of socks and a pair of these little slipper stocks out of the yarn that I sent her. And I've always wanted for these socks, when I've bought them, to work out because my feet get cold in summer. But they never did. They always sort of like slip down at the back and disappear up into the toe of your shoe. But because the ones that she knitted me actually fitted properly and were the right length, they stay on really well. So I've been wanting another pair, and I wanted to see if I could improve on them. So I have improvised these ones here. I'm thinking of writing the pattern up for it. I know there's lots of patterns around for the ones that sort of stop up at this level, but I don't like them. And the reason I don't like them is because I think it makes it look like I've got cankles. Vanity. I don't like them because of vanity. So I like the ones that sort of are more like a ballerina slipper. Sorry about that. My battery ran out. Well, it was fairly much run out at the beginning, and the hairy man had said if I plug the camera in, it'll just go. Clearly not. So anyway, we have been decorating our kitchen. Well, we had a new floor laid, and then as everything was shifted out of the kitchen, we thought we might as well touch up the paint and all the rest of it. Anyway, so I've just been putting the kitchen back together. Well, this all charged up again. And I was talking about these ballerina style slipper socks. I'll put it on my fairly useless cardboard blocker, which does not display said slipper sock particularly well, because I've done the swirl toe there because I find that fits me really well. But the other thing that I had changed was the heel. Quite often in this style of sock, people just do a short row heel, and so let me put this up the right way. I wanted to do a proper sort of flap and gusset heel, and this is another one from the Lara Neal sock architecture book, and it's called the round heel. You can't see it very well there. For this, I wasn't that fussed on it because it tends to have this little gapey bit out the side of my foot. Maybe my heel is narrow or something, and so these fit me reasonably well, so I'll wear them anyway. But I want to try making another one with a square heel because that tends to fit me really well. And I might not make it quite so far up the back. I mean, I like it to come back. I don't mind if they pop out of my shoes a bit, but that is actually quite far up the ankle. It's not annoying for me. Maybe I'll wear it for a bit and then decide. The yarn, I think I showed you this last time. The yarn is Boots by Shopple Wool. And I think the colourway is, why do they always, whenever they talk about colourways, they always put the number on the ball band, but they do actually have nice names that they never include. This has something to do with hay. I'm sure it was something like that. Anyway, the number is 1079. And it does have a name. I know it has a name. I just wish they'd put it on the ball band. Right. I just stopped and checked to make sure it wasn't in some other language that I didn't actually understand, but I don't see a name there at all. Anyway, I'm sure it's something to do with hay. And it has cotton in it. So I think this should be quite a nice summer sock yarn. So I'm going to try that out. That should be really fun. Right, anyway, so we're in the sock segment, and I have another sock on the go. I finished the sock blank pair that I showed you last time while I was in Denmark, and I gave those to a dear friend of mine who I often stay with when I go to London, so that seemed, for the accommodation in London, seemed quite deserving of a pair of socks, and that seemed cheap at the price. And so while I was in, I'm going to say this completely wrong. If there's Danish people out there listening, you can correct me. I think it's Odense. While I was in Odense, we found a very charming little wool shop. Well, it wasn't even little, it was quite large actually. And for all the goodies that were there, I bought opal. This is the Hundertwasser from the Hundertwasser series. Have I got this ball band? Look, I use my Nostipin. Well, it's not a Nostipin, it's a dibbler. It's a wooden dibbler that I got from Wilko to make a lovely. Some people's hand-wound balls are so neat, and mine are not, but I like it anyway. Anyway, I have got the label here. So there we go. That is the picture. Oh, hold it back a bit. That is the picture that the colourway is based on. And can you see that? I don't see a lot of those colours. Let me try zooming in because I really do want to. Do I want to show you this that badly? I do actually. Try zooming in. I'm bummed that you don't see a lot of those colours actually in the sock. I still like the sock, but yes, so this is the one that it is. I'm not going to try and pronounce the colour name. Really, I'm not, because I only know one language and I would just butcher it. And these on Instagram have been dubbed my minion socks. Stuart, I think, is the minion we're talking about, which I rather like, and I'm really looking forward to wearing them this winter. I have, if you've been watching before, you'll know that I put markers in every 20th row so I know where I am. And when I was making my sock blank socks, I got down past the heel and halfway down the foot, and I discovered that I had I'd left 20 rows out of the leg part. And I did think about just going back at the end and unravelling the cuff and knitting it up. And I thought, oh no, it'll look bad because you won't get that flow from the sock blank. And I thought, well, I could have actually striped it in, and that could have looked quite cool, having stripes at the top of one of the socks. But anyway, I didn't. I undid it and I went back and I added in the extra rows that way. So I have a cunning plan. On this is the first sock, and I have added in 2 markers, and I'll take the other one off when I do the other sock. I'm not one of these people that just holds my socks up together and go, oh, looks about right. Yeah, I like to be a bit more accurate than that, but that's just my own little piece of crazy. So yeah, anyway, so I've put those extra markers in, so hopefully if they're not all missing, the sock's going to be the wrong size. Look at this, it's totally flopping. I really need to spring for some sock blockers, don't I? Right, so I wanted to talk about the toe on this as well. I got to the toe and I thought I should do something that I don't normally do. And so if you look there closely, can you see that? Is it still focused? The hairy man said if you put it in front of your face, it will focus. I think that's working. Haha. This is called the sideways toe. This is another sock architecture toe, and basically it's done in the same way as a normal toe, but the decreases are in the middle of the toe, along the top of the middle, rather than at the side. Hold on. Is it going to focus? Oh, I've got a sock nose. Anyway. Rather than at the side. And as I was looking at this and reading about it, my first thought was, what's the point of that? And because I was having that sort of like, what's the point of that? That's not where my toe tapers, in the middle. I thought I'd give it a go and see what it was like. In my usual style, I didn't read all the information, and I looked at the picture and then just fired away. And I had put the decreases right next to each other, right in the middle, and that wasn't going to work because that didn't give it around. It made all the shaping actually just sit on the top of the foot. So I undid it, and I think there's about 6 stitches between the decreases now, just to sort of spread it out so that it sort of gathered it in from the side a bit. Perhaps I should take it. Where's the other? Oh, I was going to say, where's the other one? I haven't knitted it yet. Daft woman. Right, so there we go. So that makes it just curve in rather nicely and seems to sit all right around your foot. So anyway, hopefully you can still hear me when I put things in front of my face like that, but it does seem to focus better. The camera, I mean. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting one to try out and to wear. Yeah, we'll see how I go with that. So that's the sock segment. The other thing that I have been working on is from the Yarngasm podcast, that lady's name has just, Kirsten from the Yarngasm podcast, is having a D-spackle where you spin the socks. Well, you're supposed to spin and knit the socks within the time frame, but I don't think I'm going to manage that. And so I have been spinning up this Polworth. This came from All the Pretty Fibres, and I think I talked about this last time, but I've divided it into 3 to make a 3-ply, and I've just got 1 bump left to do, and it's going really well. And I did have the samples here, I still do have the samples here that my little twisties that I made to see how the yarn would come out. And I think I'm going to try zooming in on this as well. I think this has plenty of twist in it. And it's going to be kind of a thickish yarn. It's very light, and the Polworth kind of just springs out. Just sort of wants to be a fatter yarn. It's quite bedouingy. Is that word? Bedouingy? Quite bedouingy. So yeah, it'll be interesting once I get going on this to see if it actually knits up how it knits up as socks. Oh, it's tea time for the doggies. So if you hear barking, then that's Barney asking where's dinner. Bobby is just asking to be released from the factory so he can go and have his, so excuse me. There you go. Right. Okay, so that's the Polworth that I'm spinning. And the last thing that I'm working on, where did I put it? The last thing I'm working on was one that I think it was needle adjacent last time I spoke to you, but it's a pattern by Stephen West, and I was totally enabled by Danny from Little Bobbins, and it's the Enchanted Mesa jumper there, and it's supposed to be another one of these ones that you do with scraps and things. I really do hope you can still hear when I stick stuff in front of my face, because I know the sound hasn't always been great. But anyway, the pattern is just in one size, and you size it by using different weights of yarn. And so I'm using double knitting yarns, and I have decided to make mine totally inspired by my dog Barney. Who is, I think he's lovely sort of vanilla milkshakey colours. And so I tootled off to, oh, the ball's just gone way under there. Actually, do you need to see that one? It's in progress. I'm trying to flick it out with my foot. Look, all you can see is the top of my head now. Whoops. There we go. Have I got it back? I can reach. Right. I'm tangled now. But anyway. So this is as far as I've got so far. He's kind of milkshake coloured, which I think is rather nice. And so I'm using Barney Dog as my inspiration. This is the neck, and I've just started on the first segment there. And I've got all these rather nice colours. These are all blacker yarns. Various colours from them. They're all on my project page if you want to have a look. Well, they will be as I add them in, because until I add them in I don't really know what I'm putting in. So yeah, just neutrals that'll go together, and I'm quite enjoying that. And what I'm doing, just to kind of spur things along, I've decided that I can do another segment every time I do a cast off on another project. So I don't have to finish the project, I just have to get to a point like the end of a sleeve or the end of a body, or like I've just cast off that 100 Twas sock, and I got to the end of the toe and I've cast off. So tonight I'm going to do another segment on this and then I'll pick up another project until I get to the cast off, and then I can do another bit. So yes, although it is rather moreish, I got to the end of this. It's the same as the what was that shawl I did? The other Stephen West shawl I did that I can't think of the name of right now. Hold on a tick, I can tell you in a minute. Exploration station. It's the same as the exploration station, where you just think, oh, I'm just going to do that next segment. And I nearly started it and I thought, haha, I have a rule. So anyway, I'm really enjoying that one as well, and I can't wait to wear it. I'm going to do it exactly as the pattern, and hopefully it'll be a little bit oversized and larger. Hopefully, I say that, but it's looking pretty. It might be fitted, you never know. So yeah, super fun. And that is me for this week. Those are the things that I'm working on and really enjoying. It's been really nice to sit and chat with you again, despite the big gap in the middle where I went to move furniture and shift the fridge back into place and all that sort of thing. I'd love to see what you're knitting over in the Ravelry group, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Cheerio!